Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Um, all right, so today we're going to be going over essentially um, the just the syllabus, and we're going to pick out groups. So you guys will have your options to do that. Uh, you guys all okay with picking your own groups? I figured you'd be happier with that. Unless you want me to do it, that's fine.
That's fine with me.
Picking your own groups,
Yeah,
or
that's cool with me. Either
okay.
either way, it's fine. Honestly, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, either way works fine.
Well, I mean, you should want control over your own, like groups, right? I mean, you the more control you have, the more you can customize it to however it works best for you.
How big are the groups?
As big as you want them, it really
Okay,
shouldn't
cool.
matter. Yeah, you could have like a group all to yourself if that's how you prefer things.
Okay.
So let's see. If I change this and this, it should be basically the same presentation. Nice. Okay, hang on. Aha. Okay. So let me just fire this up and then switch over to um, share screen. Okay. Wait, there's a chat message. Oh yeah, you guys can talk amongst yourselves in chat to figure out your groups while I go over um, the introduction. Okay. All right, so this is Controls Systems Lab. This is a corresponding course to Control Systems, although they basically, as far as I know, don't really have much to do with one another. Um, my name is Andy Turgeson. I'm a adjunct professor, quotations, because I am actually a student here, and this is basically me TAing. Um, but since I'm not there isn't actually like a professor. Like I'm going to be teaching the whole thing, so I'm not really a TA at this point. I'm an adjunct, so it kind of works out to be an adjunct. I don't know if you guys know how this works because I don't, but that's how I figure it. So if you want to contact me, please contact this number, um, either my cell phone number, which would be great for like text messages if you have problems. Um, Although I don't carry my phone on me all the time, I'm more likely to answer an email than I am to check my text messages. But yeah, if you want to email me, you can email me at this email address. For whatever reason, I just found this out recently, but they put me on a different emailing list using like a different type of email name, where it'd be like Andrew Turgerson at mox.utc or whatever. Um, and that doesn't exist. So sometimes people try to email me using like an official like Canvas like method, and then it doesn't get to me at all because it thinks like there's this other email address that doesn't work, and it's really annoying. I don't like how it's been working out so far. But so if you just email me directly, that'd be probably for the best. I'll actually get it instead of not, which if I don't respond to you within like a few days, and you email Dr. Danqua, he'll just forward the message to me and get me in trouble. Like I'm not doing my job. Yeah. Okay. It's always fun. So if you want to have a meeting about anything, you can email me or something like that. We can set up a Zoom meeting. That good? Everyone got that? Okay. So usually how this works is that we would meet somewhere, specifically like room 404. But this is coronavirus, and I don't think we can even meet if it was a meeting face-to-face class, which this isn't. This is technically because people have to go to the lab and actually perform the experiments. Um, But usually you'd meet in room 404. I think we'll just like replace that with a Zoom meeting. Sometimes people do have to show up, and I still haven't really decided if we're going to meet in room 404, if we'll just like go down to the lab. A lot of it has to do with just basic like Wi-Fi. So if the Wi-Fi isn't working in the lab very well, like, then it wouldn't be a great place to have Zoom meetings. But yeah, basically we'd meet in room 404. If you, or this will now be a Zoom meeting, so it's really just Zooms. And then we'd go down to the lab, or however that's gonna work. We'll figure it out as we go. It really shouldn't be too hard. So the lab, room 120 is like a swipe access room, and if you do your safety training on UTC Canvas, it's like one of those, I'm sure you guys have done this like 100 times by now, where you do the lab safety training. I think you should, by doing that, get lab access to where you can enter the lab whenever you need to. Well, that's not 100%. I know a lot of people who complete this and they do it like like 3 times a semester or something like that, and they still don't get lab access, which can be really frustrating. So because of that, I plan to show up to basically the lab at this time every week or so, like whenever people are doing experiments, especially. To make sure that I would be there to open up the doors if you guys need that. If for whatever reason someone goes in and they can't like get access, you're guaranteed access to be able to get into the lab if I was there. Makes sense. This is just the lab safety manual. It's what you're supposed to read before taking the test, but if you guys have taken this like 100 times before, you probably don't need to worry about this. Okay, so you guys are going to get groups. The way this is going to work is that you guys will get a certain amount of groups, however many you want, but there are, I would say, 4 systems because the blower temperature isn't working right now. It's not, we'll just pretend it doesn't work. I mean, it works, but it doesn't. So there's 4 stations, and you guys will create a group of however many people you want, and you can pick any of the stations there that you want. Ideally, you'd want to not all pick the same one because, well, it is an open lab and you guys can go in there whenever you want. If everyone picks like the pump flow station because it was the first one you saw, then you guys will go in on a random time and day, and then you'll find that there's another group there already working on it or something like that because everyone's picked that one. Especially on the days where I'm down there letting people in, if everyone picked one, and then it's like, okay, well, I have access, but all the other groups have access too. So also absorber air and absorber water are the same system. So that's something to be noted too. So if everyone picks like absorber air and water, it's gonna be the same problem because they both use the same interface. But you guys will pick a system, and what will happen then is that for the rest of the semester, you're going to stick with that system. So when you pick, it's going to be for the entire semester, that you guys at the end of the semester will be like, yes, we worked with the pump flow system for like 3 months, 4 months, 3-4 months, and then we're basically experts at it by now. So you guys will be like on the spot, like know everything about the system up and down, and be able to like have a very in-depth knowledge of the systems. So I'll just go over the systems right now real quick. The pump flow is basically a pump and a bunch of piping with like a, I guess it's a flow meter. It's a micromotion flow meter. It's pretty cool. It uses like the Coriolis effect or something like that for when water is going through pipes, it vibrates. And, like if you have a hose, then it tries to whip around. It's kind of like that, but depending on, it reads how much it's trying to whip around. So it gets an idea of how much flow is going through it. It's really interesting stuff. But that's a flow meter. So basically you're just controlling a pump and then seeing how much flow is going through it. And then the blower pressure is basically the same principle, where instead of a pump, you have a fan impeller to where you're uh, blowing air through a network of ducting. And then you're going to try to control how much, I guess, air is going through it. Blower temperature, I would not recommend picking that one, so we'll just pretend it like it doesn't exist. Absorber air and absorber water are part of the absorber system, where the absorber system is basically you're trying to absorb pollutants out of air, which is, I guess the system was set up for carbon dioxide, but I don't think there's any, like there's a huge tank of carbon dioxide in the lab. I just think it's just empty because no one seems to have used it or filled it up or anything like that. I don't think anyone uses it. But ideally, it'd be like carbon dioxide is coming out of the air, effluent, and so you pour water over it, and the water absorbs the carbon dioxide, so that the like the last emissions coming out of the absorber system will have been scrubbed basically, and that there would be less CO2. In this case, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to control one or the other of the functions, which is going to be the absorber air or the absorber water, which is basically just the airflow, which and the water flow. When the water flow uses the same like system as the pump flow system, basically, at least the Coriolis meter, Coriolis effect, micromotion, and then the air system is not my favorite because it just takes a while to take readings, and the readings go a little bit. They're not as up to date. Like they take a few seconds, and by a few seconds, I mean quite a few seconds to keep up with the actual output of the system. Like if you measure the airflow at the beginning, it'll be like, okay, it goes from 0 to 20 in like 3 seconds, something like that. But then the actual digital or the analog electrical based sensor takes like 45 seconds or something just to like keep up with the change, and it takes a while. So buyer beware. Okay, so you guys can now talk amongst yourselves and use your chat to determine your groups, or at least get an idea of how you want to set up your groups. I will be taking emails of your finalized drafts and all that stuff, and then you guys can email me your decisions on what system you want and who's going to be in your group after, I think, like 4 days, because that should give you plenty of time to pick your groups. I'll assign the rest of the people to whatever groups, like the leftover groups, like, which isn't a bad thing because I was always in those groups because I prefer just to not worry about that stuff. Yeah, that's probably why I'm the way I am, but that's fine. Okay, so you can go on, go talk and do stuff. Yeah. Hello?
So I think I've got a group set up with Miguel and Corey. I thought it should be easier if I went ahead and told you now instead of emailing you, but I can email you, of course, if I need to.
It would just be more official to get an email, because last time I tried this like 2 times before, and then everyone changed their minds at the last second. It's like, oh, can I join that group? It's like, yeah, okay, so wait, and then a bunch of people are talking. It's really hard.
Okay. Yeah, I
So if
got
you
you.
guys,
I'll email you here shortly and get it sorted out for you.
okay.
Could you go back to the list of systems?
The what?
Could you go back to the list of systems?
Oh, yeah.
The slide of the systems.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm. And I would personally avoid the blower temperature system. You can technically do it, but it would be a nightmare, and yeah, it would be really bad.
Are there more detailed descriptions somewhere on Canvas for these systems?
Yes, I have some like information like some pre-reading, I guess, for the systems that would also help with like your first reports and stuff, and I'll send those out once I know which system you have. So if you pick like the pump flow system, I'll send yeah, just some basic information on how like it's set up and stuff. And then there was some more information before previously, like a year or two ago. But they kind of took out the server system which had all the information. So this is like the last, like this is like basically the only place where to get the information anymore. It's too bad.
So I
Well,
may have a group of 3. Is anyone else looking for a group or wanting to join a group? Well, if anybody is interested, feel free to either message me or something.
yeah, like is anyone actually doing anything right now? Like I feel like no one is.
Me and 2 others are doing some just direct messaging.
Yeah, I'm doing the same with my partners as well. We're kind of
Okay.
thinking we're kind of thinking on which systems we want. You said we have like 4 days to decide which one we want to do.
Oh no, I mean technically you have you have like 7 days till next week is when you'll start your first experiment. The whole point is that you'll need since like one person will be required from your group to go down next week and start the first experiment. So we'll do like a Zoom meeting and go over the first experiment, and then like the one representative from your group will go to the lab, and then you can have your own little Zoom meetings to essentially, you know, go through the experiment.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Is this going to be somewhat similar to like Unit Ops Lab, where we have to make a materials list? And then
You just shouldn't need a materials list or any pre-planning really. It's just mostly going down there and running it, I guess, well, because once you run it, then it's mostly just processing the data.
Okay, I got
So yeah, and then I'll be going over your data and how you process it kind of as you go. So like once you run your experiment, like that the next week, I guess it'll be due. So I'll look over it after you turn it in. And then I'll basically tell you if it was good or not. And then you guys would the next week send in like your data processing. So you guys will have a, like, it's kind of, it's not like a super fast paced course or anything like that. It's just easy to kind of forget that things are due and then try to do them all at the last minute. And then if you make
Yeah,
a
I got
mistake
you.
somewhere along the line, it's like not good. Okay. So can I get to like the little raised hands? Like if you guys are confident that you can find a group or you're okay with me moving on. Uh, okay. So 2 participants have raised their hands. 3, 4, 5 out of 8. Do I get to raise my hand too? I don't. I muted.
One of us.
Pretend I have a raised hand. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I forgot how to do it. But you just open up the chat or the
Yeah.
participants, and then it'll say raise hand.
Mine just says invite and mute.
It should. Yeah. Okay.
7.
That's good. That's like everyone. If someone isn't able to do it, then just like speak your piece now. Okay, cool. So This is an ABET accredited school, and this is specifically, I think, an ABET accredited course. That's why it's like the only course that's even relevant. You know, it's like one of those things where, you know, to get an engineering degree that counts as like an engineering degree and is in, you know, you take this in the FE and all that stuff. You have to take this course. So, you know, there's like, you know, like the chance of like everyone getting, or I guess the school getting audited, which is happens every so often. And I think if you're under review, they'll kind of pull all the records. So all your papers are going to be recorded. So they have to be graded to like a certain degree. So if I, you know, seem like a mean person, just remember that it's like all for the officiation of like how well you do. But yeah, it's important that you show an ability to apply knowledge of mathematics, science, and engineering, right? Which you guys are engineers, so you should basically just be in like that mode. Everything you say should be like scientific and engineering like, and mathematical. So you're supposed to design and conduct your experiments. These are kind of control systems. So for the most part, the experiments are kind of already programmed into the systems, but you can choose like your ranges and how long you run your systems for and all that stuff. But you know, ideally going longer is better. So an ability to function on multidisciplinary teams. You guys, I mean, you guys are all like what? Who's like mechanical?
I am.
You are.
And
I am.
Like usually 90% of people are mechanical. Who's not mechanical? I'm not.
I'm a
mechanical.
chemical engineer.
I'm a chemical too, technically, or like I was. I don't have that in master's or doctoral school. Okay. So you guys, you know, you're supposed to kind of work together. I guess we can just pretend like this class is just one big cooperative group, right? Oh,
Yeah, I think
oh,
so.
I'm okay with that.
okay. So that's cool. Also, one thing is that you guys are when you send in your groups, make sure you have a really cool group name. Okay.
All right, I got you. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's got to be really cool. Like, you know, the disinfectant franchise or something like that. You know, sorry, there's just a bottle of disinfectant over there. I've like a really bad imagination. But yeah, you guys, yeah, just make sure that it's like unique. So like no one will ever get confused when it's like group water blower team or something like that. And there's like 5 of those. Yeah, and you guys have to make it like really good. If you make it really good, I'll give you extra credit. Like, you know,
Challenge accepted.
oh no, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Okay, so oops. The ability to identify, formulate, and solve problems. So I guess I can't see all this. Solve engineering problems. Okay. Yeah, so you want to solve engineering problems. This is mostly, I would say, what you're in school for. So if there's a problem with engineering, I guess you try to solve it, which is basically what this course is trying to tune a controller. And I'll speak about this more next week, specifically what the overall objective of the course is. Ability to communicate effectively. You guys all seem like you're, I don't want to say like you can speak English well because that might seem racist or something, but not racist, but see, I can't say anything. Okay. I mean, ability to communicate. So if you can communicate effectively, that's always good because, you know, how else are you going to tell someone not to turn the wrench 3 times or it'll explode, right? I mean, that's like industry. There's usually a lot of like Sharpie markings on things. Has anyone ever worked in a plant where there's like Sharpies everywhere and it's like, don't turn this 3 times?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's good. That's good communication. Sharpies are amazing for communication.
I would find one. I could literally I would step on one everywhere I freaking walked in there.
Okay. Yeah. So yes, and a recognition of the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga, the need for and an ability to engage in lifelong learning. This is ironically, I think, for people who lifelong learning, I think, is something, you know what PE licenses are, professional engineering?
Yeah.
You take like
Is
2
everyone-
exams for it or something.
It's too advanced for it.
Are there like 2 exams you have to take to get a PE license or
Oh,
whatever? It's called?
I think there's two ways to get it. It's basically you can get a PhD. I think then you're able to get a PE, or you can work in industry for like 5 years. Oh, looks like I'm running out of time. Hope that's not for real because I don't have like a real account.
It's like
Um,
10 minutes, I think, and then you can just start it again if you really had to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think we can. I think we can make it for sure. But yeah. So PE is like you can either work under like a PE as like an EIT, which means you pass the FE. So if you have the FE, you can work under an PE for like 5 years, like working on projects, like official engineering projects, and then after that, you've like done your internship, and then you can apply for the PE. But the whole point is that once you apply for a PE and you pass it, you have to spend like every 3 years, you have to have like 40 credit hours of coursework or like continuing education, which would be like going to like conferences, and it's like, oh, you listen to this guy speak about diddly doos in space, and so that's like 1 credit hour. So you spend like an hour at this conference, and then you spend more doing other stuff, but then then you like submit those hours to like keep your PE license basically. So this is like a PE, if anyone, that's like what that's about. So it's probably not relevant for anyone, to be honest, but just so you guys have like more experience in the rest of the world of like what all that means. An ability to use the technology, skills, and all that stuff. That's just yeah. So you guys should like know like Excel and all that stuff, but I think most of you probably should. So prerequisites, I don't think you're allowed to register for the course anymore if you don't have the right prerequisites. So it's just like kind of vestigial stuff in the okay. This is basically requirements, which is Excel, PowerPoint, Word, ability to use Microsoft Suite, and use, that's basically the same thing. If you need any of this stuff, you should be able to get it. If you don't know how to use it, you can call IT Solutions. I think they'll teach you. Basically, the grading is going to be class participation and stuff like that. That's going to be factored in how many times you show up to these things, and mostly how like your group says you did. So if everyone's like, on your group is like, this guy was awesome, then that's like basically where I'll get a lot of that. Experiment results and processing is basically like the stuff that builds up towards the actual reports. So like I mentioned before, that you'll do your experiments and then submit your experimental results. And I'll look at your results, and then that'll be part of that grade. And that's mostly just to make sure that your SSOC reports or your actual reports turn out well because you have good data. So it's just kind of like the precursors to your reports, and they'll add up to about 10%. The rest is going to be just reports and presentations, where your basic reports will be, a good amount, and then presentations. One is a midterm presentation where I'll be over your first 2 reports. Then the final presentation will be over your last 2 reports, and there should be 4 reports, including your final. Any questions? Okay. Attendance policy is that it's mandatory, although like with the coronavirus, I don't know how I'm going to do this. probably won't really do it too thoroughly. Late missing work, if you really need more time on something, don't turn it in early, or like turn it in when it's not complete. Just ask for more time. Usually that works. I'm pretty good about all this stuff. You know, if you complete everything, like your final report by the deadline, that's all I care about. Although if you basically fall behind, it's really hard to catch up. So I would just recommend sticking with the schedule and pretending like the deadlines are final. Yeah. Okay. So this is basically the schedule. It's the groups. It's going to be basically every week something will be due, except we're on the days where we have the days after presentations, because we're not going to run experiments or do anything like that after like spending a few hours listening at other people's experiments in the past. So essentially every week something will be due, where it'll be first your data, then your data processing, and then your actual report. Then the when you turn in your actual report, we'll move on to the next experiment. So it's not a lot, but it will be pretty consistent. Okay. So COVID-19, basically, if for the participation part, you guys are supposed to participate even if you have COVID absences. If you have COVID absences, those will always be excused. Online assets is basically me being making sure that if you have to take the course and you have absences, all the information will be provided to you. So I'll be trying to record presentations and all this other stuff. Pretty simple. Disabilities, if you have disabilities, you can call these people. If you have need of counseling, you can call the next people. If you're a veteran, and if the veterans, if you need to contact Veteran Affairs for whatever reason, veteran stuff is there. Okay, so that's it. That should be everything. Are you guys good? So this went by pretty fast. I think that's all we're gonna do for today, as long as you guys remember that you guys need to pick your groups and your systems and email those to me, and also a group name. And then B, keep in mind that next week, one of you guys will be coming in to run the experiments. And once you send in the your groups, I will be sure to go in Canvas and make a group tab for you guys, so you guys will be able to transfer data and all that stuff. And also where I'll probably post your grades for your papers and anything else that is relevant to your group specifically. Yeah. Any questions?
I'm good. I appreciate it, Andy.
Oh yeah, thank you. You were in Ops, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. I had a good time in there last semester.
Yeah, it was a fun class. How'd you do at the end? I didn't grade like any of the last papers, I think.
Yeah, it ended up being a lot better than it started out, because we had to share the CSTR with the plug flow reactor group.
Yeah.
And we were like the first people to use it and everything. So that was a little bit stressful. But after that, I mean, we did like the hydrogen generation project, which wasn't really anything like crazy. And then the algae one, which I had to get into a pond for that, but it
I
wasn't
heard
anything
the
bad.
algae one looked like it was really bad. Like just because of, you're trying to
Yeah.
grow out, like everyone was trying to grow algae, then separate it and then do all this stuff. It seems like it was way too much to try to do.
It was a pain to deal with that, but I was glad for it to be done. Yang he's pretty lenient with stuff, so he was cool with
Yeah.
it. He understood.
Yeah,
Which
I'm
I
pretty
think was
lenient,
better.
man. I'm lenient. If you just ask, like I'll be like, sure, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, but hopefully everything's working this semester. The The lab control systems usually go down for some reason. It's like it's been a curse. Like every year something bad happens. Okay. Well, I guess we can conclude this meeting. I think it's going to shut down in like 45 seconds anyways. So have a good
Y'all
rest of the
good.
week. Be sure to email me specifically using the email that's provided in the syllabus YMP 337, because otherwise I might not get it, and if I don't get it, I can't do anything about it. All right.
Thanks, Sandy. See you, man.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.